Hey there, welcome to another episode of Living in Northern California. And today we are going to talk about the market is going to pick up in the spring because historically that has been the best time in the market to put your house on the market. So we want to give you sellers out there some tips to get the house ready for this upcoming market. What do you think, Rose?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to capitalize in some of the trends that happen every year. So before we get started, if you're new to our channel, make sure to give a little love to that subscribe button.
Hit the notification. I didn't do my heart. Today
Let's do that again. If you're new to our channel, make sure to give a little love to that subscribe button and click on that notification button so you can be the first to know about what's happening here in Northern California. So let's go ahead and get started. I think one of the important things that people should know about is why is the spring market the best market in the real estate industry. And we're going to share with you guys a chart that shows that in 2020, 2021, and 2022, how the beginning of the year, the trend for sold actually goes down a little bit and then picks up at the same time. So it has like an uptrend during like the April, May, June months. And that's been ongoing for many years because the spring season is usually the best time to sell. A lot of people want to get their home on the market and then they want to move into their new homes by the summer and be settled into their new house by school year.
So I love that. We actually have 3 listings coming up, and all 3 of them were playing a little bit of a timing game. But I think timing with historical data is going to benefit our sellers around springtime.
Yeah.
And the good thing is we're right around the corner, so it's okay to wait a couple months, get the house ready, get all our ducks in a row, and then put the house on the market. But there are a few steps before you put the house on the market, what you want to do to get the house ready.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing this video, because we know there's people that are aware springtime's the time. What do we do to get our house ready to get on the market?
Yep.
That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and this is actually one of those topics that we love talking about. You know, in the last couple years, real estate has been super quick to come and go on the market, and it's really taken away from, the true job that we have in real estate. So we're really excited and passionate about sharing this stuff with you guys. So number 1 would be...
Probably the outside of the house first.
So I would say just, curb appeal.
Curb appeal.
When people drive by. So people will drive by your neighborhood, drive by in front of the house to make sure they like it. So making sure that the front of the home is just nice to look at. Having pretty landscaping, mowing the grass, maybe painting the trim around the door, or, just having that nice look when people drive by is helpful.
To give an example, we've had a few houses that we put on the market in the last couple of years, and I needed to help because the sellers just are so busy, right?
Yeah.
And luckily I had some time where, for instance, I power washed the concrete.
Yeah.
Because it was just filthy, right? And that just made a big
Oil
difference.
Leaks and stuff.
All that stuff just to get it off, and even mowed the front yard, because when you have all the debris of all the leaves and just overgrown dead grass, I mean, just a mow and an edge and blowing all the dirt and debris out makes a big difference. And it didn't take but maybe an hour or less when it came to that, and it made a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Number 2 is the inside of the home. So we want to make sure we get it cleaned up. You guys are packing and moving, so you might as well get everything as cleaned up as possible and decluttering all of your personal items. So I would recommend taking down all the personal photos, just anything that you're not using, and kind of imagine what it would look like if you walked into a model home. Try to keep things neutral. Just have minimal stuff on the counter, in the bathrooms, in the rooms would be very good. It will help the buyer coming into your home visualize their own things in there, the less things that are in the home.
So from our example, and we live this ourselves with our own home, but going in and helping people get their home ready, when they're done and they get rid of most of the stuff, they always realize that they've collected too much stuff over time. And we're the same. You always just add to what you have, add to your pictures, add to your shelves, add to the little knickknacks you have. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to selling and showing your home, sometimes less is so much more.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
And then how many times have we had a seller clean their house, get rid of 75% of it, and that's when it hits them like, wow, I just had too much stuff and I like my house better now, you know?
Yeah.
So less is almost always more.
Right. And, take advantage of, a lot of our sellers have done garage sales. And like I said, you're moving. So I know you're going to miss all the paintings and the knickknacks and stuff, but they'll be there waiting for you for your new house. I would just recommend packing it up and stacking all the boxes in the garage. But it definitely makes it easier for the buyers to walk through.
And I think you have three options when it comes to that. If you're going to be staying in the home, you still want to declutter it. You want to take most of the stuff down and then pick certain things that might be neutral and nice pieces of furniture, maybe nice artwork. You could utilize some of those things. Another option would be if you vacate the house, I would suggest staging it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's
definitely recommend staging. So if the house is vacant, it actually sells maybe I want to say 10% more than if it was not staged. So statistically, you would get more money if you staged the home.
So when we go to new builds, this is a good example. You walk through the models and it is pristine. It's beautiful. They really made it picture perfect. You could walk through the same model, a home that's actually built with zero furniture. It looks like a different house. It's the same house. You could put all that stuff in your house, but it catches your eye in the beginning when you walk through a model like, oh my gosh, this is our house.
Well, I think it's just easier for people to visualize themselves when it's furnished, because when it's vacant, it kind of looks small. So whenever we bring our clients to new builds, if we're showing them a ready-built home, we'll actually take them to the model first so that they can see the layout, how things are going to look when it's furnished. And then we'll bring them to the ready-built home that's vacant. And all of them will almost always say, wow, this is the same floor plan.
So option number 3, one is it's vacant, you stage it. 2 is you stay in it and you declutter it and use some of the furniture you have. And to add to that, you could even partially stage, right? So if you get a lot of the stuff out, and let's say maybe your furniture is a little bit outdated, a little bit old, you could still partially stage like maybe your bathroom and maybe your master bedroom in the front room. Just put some nice pictures. You can even go to Ross and buy a nice vase, some fake flowers, stuff like that. And that does make your house pop.
Spruce it up a little bit.
Spruce it up and make it neutral.
Yeah.
Right? Don't do these vibrant colors that maybe you're a colorful person and super dark. Just try to be neutral, right? So anybody walking through could see themselves in their house, right? And what they would do to it. So that is number 2, getting the inside ready.
Yeah. On top of that, some of the things that you've been putting off on the house is also good to do. Like if you walk around the home and there's scuffs on the baseboards, a little bit of scuffs on the walls, things that you can easily do to touch things up is always better. We always think that, fresh coat of paint is always going to make the home look a lot more fresh. Getting the stains off the carpet. So if there's something in the house that you've been wanting to do and keep putting it off just because of time, but it doesn't cost you that much, we recommend getting it done anyways, because every little thing that makes the house even more prepared for the next buyer is always going to be a good thing. Like if you're missing a door handle on a cabinet, or if the door is loose on the bathroom door, it takes 2 seconds to put a new handle or tighten it up. So all those little things will help as well.
Maybe the caulking in the showers, a little mildewy, right? We've gone in, it's pretty simple too. If, there's handyman that can knock it out. It's a simple do-it-yourself project too. Yeah. Scrape the caulking off, put it on, and it looks like brand new. Same with paint. you'll be surprised when you take all the stuff down how dirty walls are.
Mm-hmm.
If you can at least touch it up, but I mean, honestly, a cheap paint job is going to make a world of difference, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to appeal to people coming in your house and not give them too much to pick apart. Mm-hmm. The investors love to pick things apart because they know they're going to come in and get a deal because there's a lot of work to do. But the families that want a turnkey home, they want the least amount of stuff to do. So make a little checklist. I got the handle that needs to be tightened up. Maybe the screen is broken. Let's replace that. Yeah. Let me touch up some of the paint in the, little things like that. That's going to be the thing to do.
Yeah, so for sure. All right.
What's number 3?
Number 3.
This is a big one.
Online presence.
We're still not on the market yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Online presence. So 91% of buyers find their home online first before they actually walk in through
91%.
Yep. So if you're selling your home, you're probably looking for another home to live in, and most likely you're online searching for a home. So that's what statistics shows, is that a lot of buyers are looking online. So professional photography and video is really important in this market.
I have an iPhone. I could turn on some lights. I could take pictures just the same way that a professional photographer could do. It's a waste of money.
Really?
I don't know. You tell me. But no.
I mean, I've heard people do that, but honestly, there's creativity when it comes to angles. I mean, I've seen so many pictures that realtors have done, and
you used to, before I got in the industry, you would be yelling at the pictures of houses. You're like, look at these pictures, and I would look at it. I didn't have the eye back then. I'd be like,
that's one thing I was
whatever,
like, you're
right?
selling a home
and
like the lighting is dark. So like I've seen pictures where they'll take pictures and one picture is blurry, or this picture is dark.
There's
like
a
the
toy
angle.
on the ground. Just basic things, right?
Well, like there was, like we sold that home. We sold a $2 million home, and one of the agents asked me like, hey, let's strategize.
Good example.
You guys go on the market first, and then I'll go on the market the weekend after.
Same street.
And actually they have a better view, bigger square footage, and we sold in a weekend. And we did everything right. We had a handyman come and fix everything, professional photos, all that stuff. Well, he went on the market right after us, called me and told me about it, was on the market for a couple weeks. He ended up losing that listing to someone else. And I looked at the pictures to give him feedback. And I'm like, hey, dude.
There was clutter in the pictures.
There was like one of the kids' bedrooms had like toys on the table and like maybe a jacket here, and then in the kitchen there was a how like on the oven you hang a towel. Well, it was used, and it was just you're looking
so what's
at
gonna happen, people are gonna look at it, just not take it serious, move on to next one. Move on to next one.
And then I took a look at who took over, and she's a very well-known luxury realtor, and day and night professional photos, like super clean, everything off the counters, the beds, everything, and they sold just a few days after. And so
and this was in the peak of the market. So you have agents that got away with a lot of things like that and were able to sell, but you also have your luxury realtors, or realtors that really take this serious, even in the peak of the market, with staging homes, professional photography, professional videography. In a hot market and we're in a slow market. We treat it the same. Right?
And also like, taking pictures on your camera. I mean, if you are really good at it and you put some time and effort, and I do know some agents who do their own photos because they just have time to like really perfect it. There are times where I'll see a house with, personal pictures taken, and the layout, you wouldn't even expect it. It's like, oh, there's a wall here. Like, it's just very different. So that's why we try to make the home more transparent with professional photos and videos, so that when someone comes into the house, it looks kind of like what they saw online.
Looks like a model home.
Exactly.
It's ready. Ready to go on the market.
Yeah.
But are we going on the market yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So
What's
it's
next?
very important to prepare. This is exactly why we want to do this video, because a lot of sellers think like, okay, we'll sign the contract, we'll be ready to go this weekend. There's just so much stuff that we have to do. So what's next is really important. I recommend having digital marketing in place, and we usually like to do this like a week before you're on the market. And what this means is basically just telling everybody online about your home, not just posting it on your realtor's Facebook or their YouTube or yours. It's actually running ads behind it and putting it out to the masses. And what's really important about that right now is that with the work from home situation that happened just a couple years ago, we have people relocating from all over the place. So when we run these ads, we actually want it to reach like all the way down to Southern California. So we cover like all of California. We want it to reach different parts because people are moving from everywhere. I mean, we've had a lot of people moving out to the Placer County area from Mountain View, San Francisco, San Jose, the Bay Area. We've even had people move from Oregon, Utah,
Guam.
all those places. So if you're just putting a sign on the house, putting a lockbox, and then putting it on the MLS, yes, it'll go to Zillow, Realtor.com, and all that stuff. But buyers are having to look for your house online versus you pushing it out to people. We usually average about 100,000 views on all of our listings just because you want so many more people to see it. And when before we started doing this, our open houses were mediocre. The amount of people walking through were kind of like, okay. But every time we do this, there's a lot more traffic coming into the house. And the more people that see your home, the more offers you'll get and the more interest that you have.
And with that, you get more of a top dollar for your home.
Yeah.
So if you get all your ducks in a row, like we're talking, and then drive people to it, let them walk through your house and let the pictures speak for itself.
Yeah.
But then when they see the home, it looks like the pictures,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's going to create a frenzy. We want people to walk through. So when people are coming in like, wow, this is a hot house. Mm-hmm. We like this house.
Yeah. And
right?
One more trick on this digital marketing stuff. Have you ever like searched something on your phone, like, power washer, and all of a sudden you're on Facebook or social
Power
media?
washer pops up.
Power washer pops up and you're like, is my phone listening to me? That's actually called retargeting. And so when people are searching for specific things like, Rockland real estate or, homes in Whitney Ranch, you can actually retarget people who are searching for those specific words online. So then you're pushing your ad towards the people who are looking for that. So that's another, really important tip when it comes to digital marketing. It's not just putting an ad on it, but it's like retargeting the people who are looking for a specific property like yours.
Have you done this before?
This is where I geek out.
Next on the list, availability, open houses.
Yes.
Are we going to put the house on the market yet? Are we ready to put the house on the market?
Yep. So after you run a week of marketing, you can put the house on the market. We always recommend maybe doing Thursday as a launch date because, it gives people start to look at open houses on about Thursday, Friday to plan out for their weekend, right? So if I see something on Thursday and I'm relocating from the Bay Area, at least I know 2 days ahead of time that I need to call my realtor to schedule a tour with them for this weekend. Yeah. So Thursday is always a good day to launch. And then when we talk about availability, this is mostly for people who live in the home. I've had a ton of properties where there's either a tenant or an owner and they're not allowing you to see the home. So they're like, oh, you can only show the home during 1 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday.
Very challenging to, even if we have buyers, we're trying to go look at a home that they're interested in. when it makes it challenging for us to go look at the house, guess what? A good chance we're just going to go on to the next one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I know people
make yourself available for the house to be seen.
And you don't have to be there. It's just being able to like make sure the house is put together and then stepping out for that 20-minute appointment. So if you're living in the home, it's important to like time block. So let's say you live in the home, you work from home, let your realtor know like from Monday through Friday, people can see it from 12 to 1 during my lunch break, and then anytime after 4 to 6, and then nothing else below that. At least people are able to see it during the weekdays. Or you can even do like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I always recommend, always be flexible on the weekend. When people are out looking, I recommend open houses because people just can come and drive around and look at homes. And, so probably have a little bit more about open houses.
Yeah, well, we're in March right now, and we saw it slow down towards the end of last year, which typically does in the winter season. The end of the year, it'll slow down. Holidays, and then January hit, and interest rates even came down a little bit. And I remember going to new builds and open houses, and they were full of people.
Yeah.
Right? So I'll give you an example of some resales. When the house was properly priced and set up correctly, there was a line of people waiting minutes before the open house even started, right? Mm-hmm. But if I go to an open house that wasn't really prepared how they needed to be, it was trickling with people.
Yeah.
And this was when it was really busy, and this was in January, right? Yeah. And I saw that for a few weeks, just when you're in the good timing and people are looking, if you do the right things, you're going to have 10, 20, I think there was 30 people that came through. Yeah. And what does that do? That creates a frenzy, gets more eyes, and these people think like, if I like the house and there's this many people, we need to take this serious.
Right.
And you'll typically see offers come in within right after that weekend, like Monday, Tuesday. And that's like best case scenario. Yeah. So we just want to get ready for this new frenzy coming up in spring, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right. What is our last one?
So last one will be a big one, and that's negotiation, right? So when you have a good hot listing, you're going to have agents calling left and right to know what's the interest? Do you have any offers yet? What are your sellers looking for? What are you guys looking for? And that's when you need to know what you're talking about if you're representing yourself or have an expert negotiator, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you're going to have buying agents going to fish, try to get the best deal for their buyers, right?
And honestly, like when agents call me on our listings, it's good to be transparent with them about what the seller's looking for. We definitely don't want to share prices with them because we want to get maximize the price for our sellers. But we have to build relationships with other realtors, try to make things work. In the past, I've always found it better to be in communication with the other agent, regardless of the situation. I mean, I've had people who lowballed the offer by like $200,000, and because I had multiple offers and built rapport with that agent, they went up like over asking by like $50,000. So we've had situations where the buyers will want to lowball the house at first just because it's their first attempt, but as other offers come in and you communicate with all the parties before you present the offer to the seller, there's room to negotiate there. So I recommend don't always pick the highest offer up front. A lot of agents don't counter offer, but I always like to give other people an opportunity to, because when it's a hot market in the springtime or just any time, it's hard for buyers. They're constantly writing offers or getting devastated. We want to make sure that we do our due diligence to communicate with the other parties like, hey, we got 5 offers, yours wasn't the highest. Would your buyers be willing to, take a counter offer? Do they have room? What's the situation? not necessarily talking about what the other offers are, but just giving people the opportunity, because we've worked with buyers where we were like at this point, but they wanted the house so much, and when they know they were about to lose it by this much, they went up that much. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just giving people that right opportunity always comes back tenfold. So
hopefully this helps, guys. We want to keep this nice and short and simple. Is there anything you want to add to this? Obviously, there's a lot more that can be done, but this is just the main quick things to help you guys get your house ready for this upcoming spring market. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, because this is a big thing right here, we would love to help you. We've been doing this and we've done this for years now, and we have a lot of pointers. So please feel free to reach out, leave a comment. You can also DM, text, email us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and again, if you're new to our channel, make sure to give a little love to that subscribe button, just so you can get information like this to help you out if you're looking to make that move. So we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
See you guys.